All right, welcome to the top 5 worst business mistakes and mind traps. I'm Holly Stokes with the Brain Trainer, and over the last 13 years in business, I've seen a lot of businesses come and go, which is really quite sad because this represents people who are passionate, excited, loved what they did in many cases, but got stuck in these mind traps. And I would suggest that most of the reasons small businesses don't stay focused or go under is really about human error. The choices that we make every day are the choices that we don't make. So we're going to jump right into these top 5 mind traps, and actually I've added another one as well. So we'll go ahead here and get started, and then we'll have a little bit of time afterward for some question and answer. Okay, so I think a lot of business owners get really excited to jump into business, especially if you're passionate or if you're a doer. You want to jump in and get things running, which is great. The problem is that there can be a lot of pitfalls and potholes. And we want to really recognize our brain is running the show. Our brain is responsible for the choices that we make, for what we don't make, for the hesitations, the procrastination, or I call it sabotage. When you know what you need to do, you just can't make yourself do it. And so through understanding these mind traps, we're going to dissect them down just a little bit to recognize some of the different pieces involved with them, but also how to adjust our thinking, our brain focus to get a better result so that we can grow the business how we envision it in our vision or in our passion. Okay, there's some obvious benefits to running a business, flexibility, being your own boss. You can be in charge of your own schedule. A lot of work from home options now as well. Of course, many business owners or people who come to business are really independent, wanting to blaze their own trail and really create their vision. And I love working with vision business owners, because there really is this element of innovation, creativity, excitement, and passion that we're working from in getting your business going. But also, small business is really a way to bring your gifts and talents to the world. And I like to say, we've probably heard a lot of people say this as well, that small business is the lifeblood of any community. So in your own business, there's no caps to what you can earn. There are many different strategies to bringing in money and revenue. And so it's often about finding the balance of what fits for your time, your schedule, and then really making your business work for you. So a lot of business owners come to business with this, wide-eyed, excited about flexibility, being your own boss, but then they don't recognize that a lot of what we have to do as business owners day in, day out, we have to stay motivated. We have to stay innovative. We have to do our own marketing. We have to get the word out. And so with all the glamour of running your own business, there's also the actual reality of what does it mean for you as a professional to stay motivated, confident, focused, productive with your time. And so we really want to maximize those in running our business. Now, here's where the brain gets in the way. Our brain runs mind traps. These are filters of the brain. So how our brain is coded to see our world, it kind of filters out a lot of information of what we see versus what we don't see. We're going to be talking about this a little bit more as well. But often the mind traps that we get stuck in, I call them the potholes on the road to success, these mind traps are taking us off course or getting us stuck at the side of the road with because we're not aware of these potholes that are in our way. So we're going to address what these top ones are and then what to do about them here. So recognizing when we get our brain on board with what we want to create, we can get clear, we can get focused, and there's really an art to staying motivated and excited and passionate about your business, especially after you've been in business for a while. But especially when you're in those first 3 years, really building your business, getting it up to speed. And so we want to recognize that our brain is part of our path to success. A lot of business owners are focusing on a lot of the action steps. How do I do this? How do I do that? But it can quickly become overwhelming. You know, you've got to be on social media, LinkedIn, you've got to do business networking groups, and we can get overwhelmed. But when we kind of pull back, recognize our strengths, make sure that our brain is on board, and then we can start tuning our brain and our actions into our path to success here. So the worst mistake, number one, I would say for small business owners is just not starting, not getting going. So many people have this idea, yes, I want to run my own business. I want to, be my own boss. I want to set my own schedule. And then they don't get started, often because we're comfortable. A lot of it's about confidence or lack of know-how. We don't know where to start. We don't know what will be profitable or what will make that ability to transfer from a full-time job to a business. So I love this quote, and it's very illustrative. And I'll just read it quickly. The graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions never shared, the cures never discovered. That's Les Brown, motivational speaker. It's something to keep in mind that instead of the graveyard, we want to bring our vision, our dreams to life. So that first step is just getting started. Decide if you're working full-time and you have this dream of running a business, you can decide in some small way to get started. You don't necessarily have to have a $100,000 loan to start running your business. And often we think of the business as a big picture, but if we get started in a small way, the actions will build on itself. Okay, mind trap number 2, not believing in yourself. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons that business owners don't get started, or that they stay smaller than what they should. So often there's opportunities happening all the time, but if we're not strong in our confidence, in our inner sense of direction, even in our intuition, those opportunities can pass us by. So here's kind of the remedy for this one, the second point. It's an I can. Start saying I can statements. A lot of times we hear ourselves talking us out of great opportunities or getting started or even our motivation. But can is a magic word. And from the world of neurolinguistic programming and hypnosis, the skill sets that I work with, we recognize there's a power in our language. There's a power in our language to tune our mind to what we see, what we notice, and the opportunities that we don't see or the actions that we don't take. So if we have a phrase like, I'm going to make $100,000 this year, then sometimes part of our mind might pull back from that, or you might even find yourself arguing with yourself. We see this a lot with affirmations. So when people say, I am a successful business owner, part of the mind can argue with that. No, you're not. You haven't made your goals. And so we kind of get into this inner self-battle with our words. But if we use can in that statement, I can be a successful business owner. Well, is that really true? Yeah. You can be a successful business owner. You may be on the way, you may not be to your mile marker yet, but can is a magic word that opens up this awareness of possibility. So if we recognize, if we start using this word, I can, in our language, it has a lot of power to keep us motivated, focused, and to really continue to innovate in our business, to develop either our products or connect with a client base that maybe we hadn't before. So keep this in mind, I can. When you hear yourself saying things like, I can't get there, I can't be successful, You got to switch it around. I can be successful. And your mind can't argue with can, because it is a possibility. So here's some of the symptoms of not believing in ourselves. I would say probably the number one is low self-image. And that really comes, which is not quite on here, but that really comes from how we were raised through our childhood, the messages that our brain picked up, whether or not our parents were positive and supportive, or even if they were. Sometimes our brain just picks up negative self-image and self-talk. Depression can also be a symptom of not believing in ourselves. We just can't get motivated. I just can't take that action. But when we get excited and passionate about our future, it's easy to jump out of bed in the morning. It's easy to get your feet under you and to keep taking action. Here's another symptom of not believing in the self. It's a little sneaky. It's jealousy. If you find yourself criticizing other people's success, or putting them down for things that they are trying to do rather than being supportive, this is a red flag for you that your mind has said it's not possible for you. So now your mind is looking for how other people are wrong for doing what you want to do. So instead of saying jealousy is wrong, we want to look at it as a marker. Pay attention to what you're jealous of. Often we don't recognize it. That sneering at other people's success can be one of these red flags. So if you find yourself putting someone down for what they've achieved, or maybe stepping out in some way, you want to recognize, okay, what is it about that I think I can't have? And that's usually where we get into that pattern. So criticizing others can be part of that as well. So if we're criticizing others for their success, then we're also in some way holding that same criticism for ourselves, and is keeping us down as well as looking at the people around us. So we want to boost our own confidence and self-image, getting excited and passionate, but also we want to celebrate success. So there's an NLP principle. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It's about how the brain codes information. If someone can do something, anyone can do it. So if someone has done something, made 100,000 in a year, or has a thriving practice, it's a model that says it's within human possibility. So keep that in mind. If someone's done something, anyone can do it. And then here's the remedy for that mind trap, is to celebrate success. Now, when you celebrate your successes and other successes, you're also giving your automatic mind or unconscious mind permission to succeed. So celebrate your successes for you, and celebrate genuinely other people's successes for them as well. This helps build your mind's permission that you can take action, stay focused, and bring what your vision for your business is about. Okay, here's another mistake or mind trap. Another mind trap, mistake number 3, is jumping right in. I'm a fan of action, but sometimes if we're jumping right in without really recognizing the downside, we can be pushing a boulder uphill. The symptoms are we're working too hard, we're getting flustered and frustrated because our efforts aren't paying off. We might even start to feel burnout, especially if, with running a business, I like to call it's like having a baby or a child. It really takes quite a bit of effort and focus in the beginning until you get it up to speed. So burnout, often business owners are finding themselves working too hard, not taking time for their own self, their own work-life balance. And so over time, if we're not balancing this out in some way, we find we just don't want to stick with it. Or it can become a chore or a burden rather than the passionate, exciting thing that we had dreamed up to begin with. So here's kind of some symptoms of jumping in, or what goes into this mind trap, is we get too excited about the I can part and we're lacking some of the business plan. So a recent statistic from Small Business Development Center said 80% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years, and 90% of business owners don't even have a plan. So if we're jumping in with too much action without a plan, that's a red flag. What can we do to make sure that we're taking action that is useful, focused, and on track with what we want? Now, if we have too much independence, we have some other side effects with that. If we're not asking for help, if we're impulsive or taking opportunities that are expensive before we've really done our research. So we want to find that balance of of not jumping before we look, but really getting that balance of the plan, which a lot of creative and innovative thinkers are kind of slacking on their plans, but we want to find that balance of plan, innovation, creativity, and action. And so these are the elements that we want to bring together for this. So what's the solution is to do your research. Who can you learn from? Who has already been to where you want to go? What can you learn by the challenges that they faced? Who has already gone down that trail? And really developing your map. I like another acronym for MAP, M-A-P, that I've heard is monthly action plan. When you know what you're going to do and have designed it to be consistent and reoccurring, it becomes easier to continue action or to keep that recurring action that really adds to your consistent movement forward. So have your map, knowing where you're going. Now here's the fourth business mistake, is not learning marketing. When I first started with business, I really struggled. I just didn't know what I was doing. I was in that same boat. I'll jump in, I'll open up my own business. I was excited about the skill sets of neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis to help people change habits and behaviors, but I knew nothing about marketing. I actually joined some very expensive seminars, $2,000 in a weekend, but I wasn't at a place that I could really apply what they were sharing because I was new to business. The other challenge is in not learning marketing, this is our #1 skill that we need to be a successful business owner. If you're in business, your #1 job is marketing. This comes from T. Harv Eker, author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. He's been created multi-million-dollar businesses over and over, and he really dialed it in at a training that it really comes down to marketing. So if you learn marketing, that skill, you can be essentially successful in any endeavor as long as you recognize those skill sets for marketing. And you don't have to go through long hours at a university, 4 years to get a master's business degree. You can start studying and learning marketing now. Oh, so here's a good example. When I first started, I was calling myself the Dream Builder Coach. I was really excited about what people could create. And I loved helping people get on track with what they wanted out of life. So, and the networking meetings, I'm Holly Stokes, the Dream Builder Coach. I help people build their dreams. And I got crickets. Nobody really, asked me what I did. They were confused about what I actually did or how I really helped people. So I started to recognize as I was learning marketing with a really strong marketing group in Portland that it was really about people shop by the problem. So when you have a pain, a problem, that's what people are looking for because that's what they're focused on. It's like most people are putting out fires in their life. And you have a solution. The solution is what your business is offering. So how I introduce myself now is very different. Hi, I'm Holly Stokes with the Brain Trainer. I help people change habits, patterns, cravings, and sabotage. Things like procrastination, not doing what we need to do so we can stay on track with business and healthy lifestyle. So it's a little more specific. And so we want to recognize that. What are people looking for? What is the problem that we solve? What is the solution that we offer? Now, especially when we get into NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, along with marketing, we get really dialed into the messages that we're saying. There is a power and an art in language and how we're using language to connect with the people that we're looking for. So this was a good example of how my marketing wasn't paying off when I didn't have the right skill set. So symptoms of not learning marketing is it can cost you a lot of money. There's a lot of ways that you can set up marketing that is not expensive, but you need to have those right words to connect with who you're looking for. Often we find ourselves wasting time doing the wrong things if we're not connecting with our audience. Not learning marketing can eat away your confidence if you're not knowing where to go to connect with your people. Frustration, feelings of failure, but ultimately burnout. And you know, marketing is the lifeblood of any business. So if you're in business, your number one job is marketing. How do you talk about your business? How do you get the word out? How do you get new folks to come in and connect with what you do? So the solution, of course, is to invest in learning. Now, this is kind of an area that I have felt is largely underserved as the small business owner, people who are excited and passionate about what they do. And the options for some of the marketing patterns out there are maybe not as specific or effective to what people are learning, or the ticket prices are very high. Oh, we're going to add somebody here. So sometimes, well, and I've often seen very high ticket pricing on marketing groups, and even as high as $20,000, $30,000 for a year, or kind of a mid-range is even $5,000. Now that could be a high ticket price for people who are trying to build their business as they go, or getting transitioning from a part-time or hobby business to a full-time job. So I really wanted to make this more available for people. And we'll talk about that at the end. But this is part of your job if you're in business, is to learn marketing. Understand the power of language, how to use the power of language for your business, and how to get people excited about your services and what you do in an ethical way. We don't want to sell something to someone if it's not a fit for them or if it's not going to help them. Okay, worst business mistake number 5, reinventing the wheel. So this again goes back to if you're jumping in and taking action without really doing your research, recognizing who else out there has been where you want to go, then we can find ourselves really kind of spinning our wheels. The mistakes that we recognize are the symptoms of that. We're taking too much time on tasks, not being strategic, or we're wasting time, and we're wasting a lot of time relearning things that we could have figured out much quicker. So as a small business owner, you really have 2 resources: your time, hopefully have some money to help you keep the momentum going, but really your time is your biggest asset, and how you use your time. And as a small business owner, we have maybe limited funds or limited time, especially if you're working another job or another to pay the bills. So we really want to maximize what time we're spending to have it building our business and bringing that revenue and that client base in to grow the business. So mind trap 5 is if you're a do-it-yourselfer. Now this is for, we're admitting someone else here. So mind trap number 5, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you're too independent, if you're reinventing systems, if you're not trusting other people, can't delegate, can't get help. These are some of those mind traps of being a do-it-yourselfer or someone who's too independent. So a lot of these patterns are ones that I've had to kind of grow and work through. So really, as you're getting up and going, it can be easier to just be yourself in business, but at some level, you're going to want to incorporate a team. You're going to want to rely on other people for more of the technical things that you can't do yourself. So this is something to keep in mind. This can be one of those mind traps that keep us smaller than we need to be as we're growing the business and moving forward. Okay, and so here's the 6th one. And this one is very pervasive, I think, for small business owners, because we're not used to doing this as much as we need to. Worst business mistake number 6, not knowing the numbers. And I've got the 3 monkeys here, and I don't hear it, I don't see it, I don't say it, right? Is different ways that we're avoiding our talk about money, we're avoiding our connection to money, or not knowing what's coming in versus what's coming out. And in some of the classes and workshops, there's some different typing that we can say. Some people feel like they're too spiritual for money, so they don't want to look at the numbers. Some people feel too afraid to look at the numbers, like I'm not sure what's coming in versus what's coming out, or how we're talking about money to ourselves. If we're saying things like, I can't afford it, it goes into the filters of the mind, what we see, what we don't see. So here's some symptoms of money blocks. If we're avoiding numbers, if we're not paying our bills right when they come in, if we're not keeping profit and loss statements, I had to work on these things myself in the first few years. If we're feeling awkward in the sales process, or if we're not asking for money or not asking for the sale, we're leaving money on the table. If we don't know what's in the bank account, if we don't know if we're profitable, these are patterns we cannot continue long term. So we want to, here's the solution, we want to make peace with money. And a lot of our patterns with money are about the mental blocks that we're carrying in the background. These are old ideas, patterns that our mind has picked up about money. Just to give you a few off the top of my head, is money means greedy. If you have more money than what you need, you're taking more than your share. Money is filthy. You've heard of the terms dirty rich or filthy rich. So these are all information stored in the background of our mind. Now I have here an image of an iceberg, and this is really where these mind traps come from. Is that the conscious level is like the iceberg, the part that we see above the surface of the water, and that's our active planning, goal setting mind. I am going to, do those phone calls this week. I am going to get my business plan together. So we're making that conscious focus. But then what's under the surface of our mind, the deeper levels that we don't see, are the past programming, the history that we've picked up about who we are, what's possible for us in the world, or about the meanings of what money means. Money means. So this is an exercise I often take people through, especially in the 7 levels of wealth, master your money mind. Money means filthy. Money means freedom. Money means there's never enough. You can't, money doesn't grow on trees. These are the old ideas that kind of get stuck. Now, some of them, depending on your history or your parents, how you grew up, some of them are more ingrained than others. But thankfully, with recent developments in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, there are fast and easy ways to change these patterns. And part of this belief system, so the conscious level down to the unconscious level, all of this informs how we see ourselves and how we see what's possible for us. So you might even think of it as having a money ceiling. There's certain amounts of money that unconsciously we're allowing ourselves to reach or not to reach. And there's like a safety issue with how much money that we're bringing in or what revenues we're bringing in. So these are all of what's going on in the background behind the surface of what we're aware of. But it really plays into the attitudes of what we see, what we don't see, the opportunities that we take or what we don't take. So here's some statistics. Most small businesses fail. 80% of small business fails within 5 years. 90% of small business have no business plan. And kind of my message is don't give up, but don't be a statistic. There's a lot of programs that what other programs are missing is the human piece. What is our brain running about motivation, about focus, about confidence, about using our time productively? How do we get our brain on board with that when there is so much to do? How do we get our brain out of overwhelm and into action? So these are the pieces that I really want to help small business owners address as they're moving forward. So that's essentially why I created the Brain Training for Business program, and it combines three aspects for success, and I added a fourth here. And these 3 aspects is you have to know know the know-how, how to market, how to get the word out. So there's a whole section that we have in the program for that. Second is training your brain. What do you do when your brain is on overwhelm, when you're overstressed, when you feel you have too much to do and can't get things done, or you're procrastinating. How do you get your brain out of those patterns? The third is I've added a coaching component to keep focused on growth, on track. And the fourth is community support. So we're going to just show you the highlights of each of those aspects. And I actually created this program because the business training programs I've seen out there are so expensive, or they can be very expensive, and they may not actually fit, especially for service professionals, people who are trading time for money. We need to be a lot more focused with our time because we have less resources with our time. So one piece is the foundations of business training, and this goes through visioneering your success, your leadership and confidence, presence, the psychology of marketing, goals into plans. So all of this is easily accessible, and you get access so you can flip through and find whatever you need. So if you're feeling shy on the sales process, there's a section on that. These are all in video format as well as a workbook style as well. And you get instant access to all of that. Now, every month I'm running video monthly trainings, and these are the how-to hacks. These are quick and easy ways to get things up and running, especially for service business. So next month, we're covering the psychology of marketing and the power of language. We're really going to dial that in to make sure your message is clear and focused, and that you're connecting with the people that you want to connect with. We're also going to go through a section, Get Found on Google, the easy way. So easy ways to get found on Google, to come up in those natural searches. Web pages that sell, 13 essential points. These are ways to upgrade what you have in your website, or if you don't have a website yet, these are elements to make sure that you have there so that you can get automatic calls from your website. You might as well get it selling for you, right? Your elevator pitch, how to talk about what you do, sales conversations, more than 44 ways to market your business and map your revenue streams. So these are all business hacks, how to get the information out there quickly, effectively, to take the action, but the money starts coming in for you. Now here's the other aspect that really sets this program apart, is the train your brain aspect. Like I mentioned before, what really takes small business are the mind traps that get in the way, but it's the human element. So we can know all of the how-to skills, but what really gets in the way is our procrastination, our sabotage, these hidden mental blocks, whether we're avoiding money or avoiding conversations with people. So we want to train the brain to keep your vision, hone your focus, build confidence, believe in yourself, get motivated, stay on track. So there's extra resources within the program, but also that will be part of the coaching program for continued growth. So I love this image of the tree, showing that there's a lot of different parts to growing your business. It can feel overwhelming, but when you have that ongoing support that just keeps nudging you forward, keeps you excited, keeps you focused, it makes a huge difference in what you're able to accomplish. And then finally, community support. It really does take a village to grow a business. We have in our Facebook group, we have ways for sharing quick hacks, tips, tricks, and really kind of creating that element of support and connection within the community with each other. So quick overview of the Business Startup Profitability Program. Think of it as your first $50,000, or if you're still struggling to find clients. So we have the monthly marketing training, how-to hacks, monthly coaching check-ins, staying on track, motivated, focused, the 10-module series for business foundations. So that's like one of my students that went through the program. He had been doing trainings for Dun & Bradstreet, had a master's degree in business, and he said this brain training business program is a far more practical approach, and it's in quotes, you can read it on the webpage, where the rubber meets the road in business. The program got into the psyche and the thinking of the customer to a degree not done in college courses, the finesse of NLP in working with people and how they perceive your business, including business cards, designs, subtleties, provided valuable information and insights. So just recognizing it's designed to get you up and moving quickly, to help you fill in the holes of where your education has been in the past, and to really highlight the business, marketing, staying focused and on track. Within the brain training system, there are quick hypnosis solutions. If I'm not feeling motivated, I just listen to the 10-minute out of overwhelm into action hypnosis track. And it works with your conscious and unconscious mind to get focused, back on track, and get into action. So it's a lot of fun. Business owners, we don't have as much time as other people, and I wanted to keep them short and sweet. So they're between 10 to 20 minutes. Quick hypnosis to infuse your brain with what you need to stay focused and stay excited. There's a training manual, Visioneering Your Business, templates, worksheets, and a Facebook group for sharing those tips and tricks. Plus, within the business training mastermind, I give VIP rates on private sessions. I just want to make it more affordable to really support small business owners. So here's the Startup Profitability Program. I want to help shorten your learning curve with business, with tools, with NLP, and quick hands-on brain for business. I packed in a ton of value into this program. There's about $225 of value. But I want to keep it available to business owners and getting started and bringing your vision to reality. So for the whole year of access, the monthly trainings, the online system, all of the workbooks, worksheets, your price, it would only be $895 is the special before, or there's monthly payments with a registration fee as well to offset the cost there. If you go to this link, bit.ly, it's a short link, Train Brain for Business, or I'll pull up that web page in a moment. Now I'm offering another bonus here with the Master Your Money Mind. With registration by September 30th, get 1 year's access to the online masterclass, 7 Levels of Wealth, plus the CD, Train Your Brain for Wealth and Prosperity. And if you're in Salt Lake City, you'll also get 2 free tickets to 7 Levels of Wealth, Master Your Money Mind class as well. And we do those live in-person trainings, or you can also join that by Zoom if you're out of the area. So the Brain for Business Mentoring Program is for you if you're in your first 3 years of business, if you struggle to find clients or keep your business full, if you want to take your business from hobby and part-time to a full-time business, along with the private coaching as well in the program. And here's the URL link again. Another reason would be if you have some good business savvy, but you know you have some holes along the way and you want to fill in those places, or you want to stay focused and motivated if you notice that you have sabotage, or I just can't get past this certain sales number. I just can't, make more than $3,000 a month or $4,000 a month. Usually there's a brain block going in the background about the money that we're allowing ourselves to bring in and make to support us. Okay, so there's the overview. Now I'm going to just pull this up real quick and then we'll open the lines for question and answer here. Profitability Startup Program. If you go to the website, thebraintrainerllc.com, and over to business coaching, the first drop down is business startup and profitability. And this has all of the details on it, what's included, the statistics from the Small Business Development Center, the 12 months coaching and training, the online program, plus your ability to register right there, or feel free to call me. You can also book a free consult with me. Send me an email, holly@thebraintrainerllc.com. Thank you for being with us and understanding the top 6 mind traps for small business, and hope to see you on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines now to do a little bit of question and answer.